Danielle Arsenault, and this is Pachavega Living Foods Education. If you love our content and love what we share, then please hit the subscribe button and like this video. Today, we're going to show you how to make an incredibly satisfying, perfectly flavor-balanced Spanish Gazpacho Soup. So join us here on the island of Ometepe and discover how to make your food taste delicious, always. This is Mateo.
Howdy.
We're here on the island of Ometepe, Nicaragua, and I want to show you guys how to flavor balance. I actually believe this is probably the #1 skill for chefs and home cooks to make food taste amazing. And it's really simple because it just all comes down to thinking about the 5 flavors and then balancing them within all the food that you create. So, we're going to make a gazpacho. Gazpacho is a cold soup that comes from Spain, the Andalusia region. It's quite an old custom. They made it for a long time. And it was one way that they could actually use up old stale bread the next day. And it was refreshing, and it was eaten in the daytime as a refreshing sort of pick me up in the day. So I'm going to make a version of something like a gazpacho. And the main ingredient is tomato. So I've got a little bit of water here in the Vitamix, just to get these tomatoes. I actually haven't cut them. I'm just going to throw them in. Yeah, just throw them in. Yeah. If you have a high-speed blender at home, I recommend cutting. Obviously, cutting your tomatoes will make it easier, but you don't need to. And especially if you have this tamper. Tamper. Yeah, the magic wand. Good. Okay, let's see how this goes.
This is gonna be like concrete.
Pretty much. Yeah, you can blend almost anything with this amazing blender. So that's the start of our soup. And some other typical ingredients. Some other typical ingredients include garlic. So, do you know anything about garlic?
I know I like it.
Yeah.
I use a lot of it. But
Yeah. Yeah, see, I mean, that could be your reason, right? You like it, you use a lot of it, and it adds flavor, but it is so potent, and actually Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, used to prescribe garlic to his patients as sort of like a cure-all. It's antiviral, antimicrobial, antifungal. You can smash garlic and put it in the bottoms of your feet if you have the flu.
Yeah.
It will help, help you get through that flu quick.
Yeah.
So for all those out there who are looking to boost your immune system and maybe move through the flu as quick as possible, garlic. And to avoid vampires. And kisses you don't want unless you want them. You eat garlic, I eat garlic.
That's fine, yeah. Share the gazpacho.
No problem, right? I put 4 cloves. Okay. So then let's add some of the other typical ingredients. Okay, so these include green pepper, red pepper. Some people even make gazpacho with watermelon.
Yeah.
Cucumber. So here I have a mix of a few green peppers. Now, most of the time I actually don't recommend people eat green pepper. And the reason that is they're unripe red peppers.
Yeah.
So they're not that easy for a body to digest. But they do impart a very specific flavor. So we're talking about flavor balancing. We'll use the green peppers as flavor, and so just a few. Yeah, they have a lot. So, okay, there are some red peppers here underneath.
No, I haven't seen red peppers in a year. What?
You know why he hasn't seen red peppers in a year? Because they don't eat them here. They pick them green.
Yeah.
And they sell them green. So what I ask them is, I say, you're half. Clearly he's hungry.
My favorite recipe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, red pepper has like over 300% more vitamin C than a green pepper.
Mm-hmm.
It also has more beta carotene. It's more nutritious, and it's easier to digest because it's ripe, whereas the green pepper is unripe. So if you have digestive issues, I recommend don't eat green pepper at all. But if you have a hearty digestion, then a little bit of green pepper is okay in the diet. But typically, I recommend not to eat.
That would be the same thing.
Green papaya, yeah. I mean, any unripe fruit or vegetable is going to have less nutrients, less nutrition. It's like a green banana, right? Like the nutrition grows as it ripens, but then it gets to like a sweet spot, and then it drops. Yeah, exactly. You missed the window. Cucumber. This is a very important ingredient in your gazpacho. So you notice how I haven't measured anything? I'm just like throwing it all together. So what we're doing is we're just creating this base, and then we're going to flavor balance it, and we're going to talk about all those flavors. Okay. Okay, we've got our sort of base, but obviously you just saw it's wet tomato, cucumber, and pepper. So as a soup, and it's probably missing some stuff. Okay, now let's talk about flavors. Okay, here we've got 5 flavors. The tongue is able to discern 5 different flavors, as well as a mouthfeel flavor, which is known as like a fatty flavor. So sweet, sour, salty, umami, spicy, bitter. Okay, these are the flavors. Sometimes spicy and pungent and umami are kind of grouped in one. Do you know what umami is?
Wasabi is it?
Okay.
I don't know. It's intense, but not.
Yeah. So wasabi is an example of an umami flavor, right? Umami is like an earthy flavor. It's a deep flavor. We typically describe it as savory. Savory flavor, right? So we're going to have to add that to our soup. But let's consider what we already have. Tomato are a bit sweet. Tomato are also quite acidic. So we've got 2 flavors right there. And sun-dried tomatoes are even umami flavor. There's a bit of umami flavor in tomato. Okay? So those flavors are already there. The green pepper is bitter, right? So there's that bitter flavor. But we don't really have any fat. We don't really have any salt. And we're missing some flavors. So sour is a flavor that can balance out sweetness. It can also balance out saltiness. So if you have a dish that's too salty, add some sour. If you have a dish that's too sweet, add some sour. So sour and acidic are similar, but sour is more like lemon, whereas acidic is like tomato.
Okay.
Tomato you wouldn't exactly describe as sour, but it's like acidic. So our sour element, I don't have a sour element, but whoa, there's limes growing on the tree behind me.
I can find that. You want one?
Yeah, let's get one. In Ometepe, you can find everything you need growing right from nature. So we just went, and literally right behind me is a tree. And if you were to look at this, you would think it's
orange.
It's an orange, right? Here, I'll come over. Okay. This is not an orange. It is what is it?
I don't know. It tastes very much like a lemon.
It's a limon agria? No. Naranja agria. Naranja agria. So literally a sour orange, and it is extremely sour. So we're going to add that as our sour element. Okay.
And can you go overboard with sour?
Oh my gosh.
Bring it back?
You can go overboard with sour, yes. So that's why, actually, you can go overboard with any flavor. So let's just go. And remember that tomatoes already have acidity. So just a little drop. Like, actually, traditionally, gazpacho does not have lemon in it. So that's why I just put a little bit. We also have another flavor to balance or to give some sour, but it's also a umami flavor, and that is balsamic vinegar. So balsamic vinegar provides an acidity, but it also is, you know what? You know?
Delicious.
It's also delicious. Some other flavor. Sweet. It is. It's sweet. It's got some acidity, but it's also a bit sweet. So let's add a bit of that. Okay. So sour, you're gonna add to balance the sour, more salty and more sweet. Or sour will balance the salt and the sweet.
Okay. It won't do anything together.
Oh no! Also, sour will cut fattiness. So if you have too much fat in a dish, you add sour, it'll cut that fat down. Yeah.
It breaks down.
So like a really oily pesto, squeeze a lime, amazing.
It's the balance.
Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do is sour salty. So I actually just brought salt for salty. Another thing that I would typically use in gazpacho, which I don't have here in Nicaragua, is chickpea miso. Okay, so this also provides a little bit of probiotic content. So it's a live, living culture miso paste is used traditionally in Japan. Doenjang is a similar counterpart that's used in South Korea, and it provides a very salty taste, well, basically because it has salt, but it's like a fermented soybean or other legume with salt. Chickpea miso is chickpeas, a koji spore, which is a type of bacteria culture, and salt. But we're going to add some salt for our salty. And again, it's way easier to go small and then add more than to add too much and have to correct. So salty will balance sweet. So even a dessert, if you have like a chocolate cake, you put a pinch of salt, right? It allows you to eat more, I think. Or like, you know, that concept of salted caramel, right?
Yeah,
it's for a reason, right? It has that balance. So sweet. So I think the tomatoes have a sweetness already. We added a bit of that balsamic, there's sweetness. We don't need to add all the flavors because some of the foods might already have those flavors. Let's just blend that as it is. And then I'm going to get Mateo to try the soup and taste it and tell me what he thinks. So just for you people out there who have a Vitamix, if you don't have a lid, you can just turn it upside down. It's a little pro tip there.
You lose your lid.
No, I have the lid. I just didn't want to bring the lid and the tamper. I was like, one or the other. Okay, so it's not supposed to be that good. It's really fresh. Let's see. Already, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. Garlic is essential. Actually, I didn't say. Garlic is very umami. That's actually the flavor of garlic. And it's got the spiciness too. But, you know, it's not sweet, it's not salty, it's not sour, it's umami. So if you're wanting to add umami to a dish, garlic, if you like it, is an excellent addition.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's actually not even that bad.
No.
You'd be surprised.
That's really good.
You would be surprised. People are like, what? Like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. It's actually tasty. The Spanish knew what they were doing. Okay, but to make it more gourmet, I would like to add olive oil. So olive oil is a fat, right? And a couple things with olive oil. It's not a whole food, technically. It's extracted from the olive. But if you get cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, that means it's the first pressing, and they don't add heat to the olives. Yeah, it doesn't change the compounds exactly. But after, they add heat because they want to press the crap out of those olives to get as much oil. So after they press them once, they need to add heat in order to get more oil. And then it goes down from cold pressed extra virgin to virgin olive oil to just olive oil. So if you get just olive oil, that's like 4 times pressed and with with heat,
Okay. Wow.
and there's not a lot of nutrition left. So, saying that, your olive oil should actually be cold pressed extra virgin, and you should pretty much only use it raw. I know a lot of people cook with olive oil, but coconut oil is a better choice for that. Even though I do still cook sometimes with olive oil, but it's best and most nutritious raw. Okay. So I have my trusty little Nalgene containers that are airtight. I travel with these a lot. They don't.
Oh, awesome.
These guys here, they're leak proof. So it's really important for me to have like these leak proof stuff, especially as much as I travel. I'm not gonna put olive oil in my bag and just let it, go around if it's not gonna be like fully sealed.
Yeah, I should say I might buy something.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I've got olive oil here, and I've got something special in this one, which I'll tell you in a minute. Pros, what they would do is they would actually start the blender. They would start the blender and they would add the olive oil.
Why is that?
That helps emulsify it a little bit better than if you were to just put it in and like blend it all at once. Mm-hmm. So emulsification is the process of keeping everything blended all at the same time. Because it's like it breaks down the molecules so they're all together. Does that make sense? Okay, olive oil. So we got sweet, we got sour, we got salty, we got fatty. Bitter is going to be naturally in the vegetables. Mm-hmm. Normally we don't add bitter because bitter comes from food in general, and that's part of the balance. But I have a secret ingredient that I brought today. A few secret ingredients. Well, the one thing that the Spanish do is they add bread. So this is actually like a stale bread. It's not stale at all. It's actually really good bread still. Yes. It's a coconut bun that my neighbor makes. So plant-based, amazing and delicious. But what they do is they add this to basically give it a little bit more depth. And this was what they did back in the day. The old bread that was basically dried out, hard old bread, they would make gazpacho. Yeah. So we're just gonna add a bit of this bread. Now, if you don't eat bread, you don't even need the bread. In fact, my students in my courses online, I don't say bread. I recommend that they use sunflower seeds or macadamia nuts or cashews or walnuts or some sort of nut or seed. You can even add tahini. But, we're going to go the traditional style and we're going to add the bun. So good. I always do this. I like doing videos and then I eat stuff and then I have food in my mouth. I have to eat hard. Okay. The secret ingredient is in this little container.
Seaweed.
No, but that's an amazing thing. I would totally add seaweed. Yes, it would add so many minerals, vitamins. I love seaweed. This is a cilantro and basil mash, which basically is cilantro, basil, a little bit of olive oil, and a little bit of salt, because I wanted to balance it a bit. Instead of it being just too bitter, because the cilantro and actually basil is quite bitter. Okay, so these two herbs are bitter, but they're also heavy metal chelators. So that means that if you have any type of heavy metal toxicity, which most of us do, just living life, it can help attach basically to the molecules of heavy metal and help your body rid itself. Like mycelium. That would be another mushrooms. So we're gonna add just a little bit for flavor and also for added nutrition and to help with the detoxification of the system.
Wow.
It's like, yeah. You like something? Okay. So that's going to give it a different flavor. The Spanish people that are watching this are probably, we never put cilantro in our gazpacho. But that's okay because this is our gazpacho.
No yours.
Not yours. But you can make them at home, you know? So yes, there are cilantro haters out there, and I completely understand. So maybe just basil. Okay, let's taste this now. Oh, I should have let you keep the old one. You were hungry.
It's totally different.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that garlic though, still there. Love it.
It's so
Essential,
much
essential.
more, I feel like the fat.
Yeah.
It turns off the end of the spicy bit of the garlic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that fat is balancing out the spice, which is actually,
Balancing.
it does do that.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, fat balances spice. So if you have a curry or something that you make that's too spicy, if you add fat to it, it will diminish the spiciness. And that could be fat in all ways. Like it could be an avocado, right? Like if we put chili or something and it was too much, we put an avocado. You could add coconut yogurt, as an example, right? So it doesn't have to be olive oil, and it doesn't have to be a refined oil. It can be a whole food. It could be a nut, right? Some walnuts. Okay. Now, we're going to add just a few more embellishments to enhance our gazpacho. What do you think it needs? Sweet, sour, salty, umami, bitter. We've got all the flavors in it now. So I brought some like non-traditional foods. I brought some curry powder. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah.
I brought some mustard. I also brought some black pepper. Black pepper?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe bring some spice.
There you go. Yeah.
Fun.
Some spice.
And mustard.
Mustard? You want
What flavor is mustard?
Mustard? Good. Mustard has bitter, sour, or acidic, and umami.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's earthy. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. And I'm going to add a little pinch more salt.
You taste salt?
Does it? Find it sweet? Yeah. Finds it sweet. We didn't add any sweetener, right? But it's the tomato. That makes it. We might even add some more of that pesto. It's pretty good. So I'm looking for an emulsified soup, and essentially that's like when it, you know, like you make a smoothie and like it separates. That's not emulsified. Okay. So it's the opposite. You make a smoothie and it stays all as one, and that's usually because of soluble fiber, which is like banana or coconut or tomato. Yeah, but the bread does the same, and the olive oil does the same. So let me see if I can. Oh yeah, I need to try.
Okay. Proportion of my last. Yeah, get better. Wow, there's so many flavors.
Love it, I love it, I love it. I mean, for those watching, you wouldn't believe how actually satisfying, delicious, amazing the soup is, and how simple it is, right?
We didn't even cut the tomatoes.
We didn't even cut the tomatoes. Don't overcomplicate things. Sometimes it can be the simplest things can be the most delicious. So, my next fun thing is let's pour it in bowls. Do you think it's done?
I would eat it. Yeah.
I would eat it. I like it. So that's it. That's how you make a delicious, flavor-balanced gazpacho. And yeah, I hope you learned something today.
Follow our channel for healthy tips and tricks in the kitchen and delicious plant-based recipes.